Hey everybody, what's up bitches? How you doing? Okay, so today we are going to speak to Kat. The premise of the talk is death, till death do us part. Scary, I know, but guess what? If you don't know, let me tell you, we're all gonna die. So on that cheerful note, Kat, tell me, how's the day been so far?
Yeah, my day's been good. I've had a really good day. I've been as normal, searching for jobs, been pretty good. Yes, the weather's been okay outside. It hasn't been that bad. It looks like it's gonna have a spot of rain, but yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good out here. Pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. I wish I could say the same because it looks really dull, miserable, and it does actually look like it's spitting down with rain at the moment.
Oh, that doesn't sound too good. Doesn't sound too good.
No, are you?
I haven't looked outside my window yet.
Are you sure you're in London?
Have I been teleported? Have I been teleported to another part of the country or another part of the world?
Oh, well, I was thinking you must be talking from like Barbados or somewhere because I'm not quite sure we're in the same country.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
Okay. So, Kat, I want to jump straight in. Health. How important is health to you in terms of the way you eat and you fuel your body in terms of the good stuff? I mean, tell me about your diet.
Well, my diet is pretty boring, I would say. So what I do is I have like oats in the morning. So I have a nice large bowl of oats in the morning. And also in the afternoon, I try and mix it up with salad and a bit of chicken or fish. And then in the afternoon, because my family's vegetarian, so I have a vegetarian dish in the evening, an Indian dish really, which is a blend of different vegetables, and so yeah, it's a mixture really on my diet. How about yourself?
Well, that's a great question. Normally, I eat very, very clean, very, very healthy. So as you can tell, I've got African blood going through my veins, and us Africans, we love our rice. I mean, we love our rice. But the problem is that for me personally, carbs, if I'm not working out religiously, carbs will literally pile on the weight for me. I've never been a sweet person. I've always been much more of a savory individual. So rice has always been a very staple part of my diet. I have played around with my dietary habits in terms of reducing the amount of carbs I intake, switching to more green, red, and orange type of potassium high, chloride filled fruits and vegetables. But I would say, based on my ancestry and based on my upbringing, I do try to eat as very clean as possible.
Oh, great! Oh, that's good to know how like you've had a balanced diet, and it's really important to have a balanced diet because if you just eat carbs all day, then of course the load on your body is just way too much, and that leads to, over a course of a period of time, different types of diseases.
Yes, I agree. There was a famous doctor by the name of Dr. Sebi, and he died a year or 2 years ago. He was the first African Latino doctor that discovered a cure for AIDS in the 70s. And he was taken to the High Court in New York, where he was summoned to bring evidence of his amazing cures. He brought in, this is very well known, documented, and I'll put the links in the description, but he actually brought in 77 patients that was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS and that had been cured. And his premise was that any disease can be cured because it's all being taken care of through Mother Nature based on electric foods that we grow organically. And what do I mean by electric foods? Foods that have seeds in them, foods that are perishable. And so coming across his work, Dr. Sebi, I've tried to kind of use his principle to try and modify my own lifestyle.
Wow, that's amazing. I would really love to read that article.
Absolutely.
That's the first of you've mentioned it, really. That's an interesting study. I would really love to read.
Yeah, I mean, his whole idea was that, I mean, very much in your own culture, where, for example, if you're of Indian heritage, that you try not to eat any type of meat because meat is not supposed to be contained within the body. He has that same background, so he has advised individuals like you and I to stay away from blood, i.e. meat, and starch, which would be your pies and your pastries, that agent that holds flour together, and obviously refined sugars. He believed that these three elements, if you were to cut them out of your diet, you would live a lot longer and a much more productive life. So he was an amazing man. I consider Dr. Sebi a legend, and he's one of those individuals that I wish I could have met while he was alive, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. So I've certainly learned a lot in terms of dietary habits. Now, KP, let me ask you this. Are you aware of what is called marine phytoplankton?
Marine phyto, is that a, you know, the particular type of is it, they're not, they're small fishes, microbes at the bottom of the sea, and they're eaten by certain fishes, say like sharks and whales as well, who, you know, eat that type of plankton, and it's rich in omega, right? It's rich in krill oil. So, you know, yeah. So I've heard of it, and I used to take what's called krill oil, and that came from plankton.
Yeah, absolutely. So marine phytoplankton is very similar to spirulina. Spirulina is normally cultivated on land, but it's the same process, whereas marine phytoplankton is cultivated in the ocean. So what happens is the sun radiates down on the ocean, it creates an algae, then the bottom feeders start eating the algae, the smaller marine mammals eat the algae, then the bigger animals will eat the small bottom feeders, and goes all the way up the chain. Now, I want you to imagine this: cod liver oil. The purity of cod liver oil is determined by the consumption of this marine phytoplankton. And just before I go into that, just so that you're aware that without marine phytoplankton, 80% of all life on the planet would not exist. In fact, the majority of all our oxygen comes from marine phytoplankton. What does phytoplankton mean? It means bouncing light. So marine phytoplankton is a small terminology for bouncing light. But basically, going back to the cod liver oil example, when we have cod liver oil the traditional way, it's gone through the intestines of maybe 3, 4, up to 7 different animals before it gets into our own system. But through marine phytoplankton, you're actually getting the nutrient directly from the source because it originated from the source. So I'll give you an example. So here's one company that I use. And it comes in pill forms. And what this does, it delivers pure oxygen directly to every cell in your body. Okay? And with virtually zero waste. So what does that mean? It means that when the algae goes into your body, it's smaller than a white blood cell, and it nourishes every cell in your body. And how does it do that? By providing pure oxygen. And also bearing in mind that if you're low on elements such as potassium chloride, which helps with conductivity for the brain, the heart, your muscles, by passing electrodes and electricity through each and every cell, this does exactly that. So I'm a massive advocate of marine phytoplankton.
Right, and so I would really be interested in that particular product, and that's again you mentioned it to me over the years about marine phytoplankton, and and like you say, like our bodies need oxygen.
Indeed.
So yeah, no, so where would I go in and purchase it? What, on eBay, or like
there's two companies I would recommend. This one, which I use, which is called Ulmac Core, comes in pill forms. Very, very cheap. This is normally about £10 for about 90 tablets.
And what do you take 3 times a day?
3 times a day.
Okay.
And there's another company I use called Oceans Alive. This is the pure form. It's a liquid form. I've actually looked at this particular form underneath the microscope. It's crazy what you see under the microscope. What you see is these live bacteria zooming around. It's like a city within a city. It'll blow your mind. But for the liquid version of this particular trace element of marine phytoplankton, Oceans Alive is really good and very, very powerful. The problem is it comes in a very small bottle and it's very concentrated. You'll put it in about 1 litre of water. But you'll go through the liquid very, very quickly. So what I try to do is combine the tablets with the liquid. So I might drop 2 tablets and then in the evening drop the liquid version. Just a way to kind of have the best of both worlds. But I'm telling you, I mean, this is the best form of any type of food you'll ever consume.
But with the liquid, do you like pour it on your salad, and do you pour it on your food?
So what I would do, I'll get a litre of water or 1.5 litres of water, and I'll just put maybe 3 drops. And what you'll see is that water will turn green, which is the chloride, and then drink it. And that's the way that I would normally consume that particular product. Very, very good.
Is that how you should, or can you, like I said, put it on your food? And
you can put it in your food, such as yogurt, anything that's kind of liquidish type based. You couldn't put it on your toast. It's a very, very strong. I mean, when you drink it, for example, it really resembles you're drinking from the ocean. You would get it. It doesn't have a fishy vibe, but it has a marine taste to it, an ocean taste to it. And I wouldn't know what an ocean taste to it, but if I did, then that would be the example. But you can certainly add it to yogurt. You could also rub it on your skin if you've got really bad acne. It's a great, great product. So I would recommend anyone to seriously have a look at that particular product. Another product I use, this is slightly different. So you and I are both health conscious in terms of working out, looking after our bodies as well, as much as we can. And probably like yourself, as men, we've all made the mistake of trying to increase our own testosterone levels. And so we've bought the testosterone boosters, which are bad, seriously, seriously bad for you. So there is another product that I use, which is called Tongat Ali. Tongat Ali. Now, unlike testo boosters, which help create testosterone, this works slightly different. This one comes from Thailand. In Thailand, it's called longjak. It comes from the root of a tree. Now, what this does, rather than create testosterone, it stimulates your own testosterone within your own body, which is a lot safer than the testosterone that we actually buy in the market. I remember when I was with one of my partners and I used to take the testosterone boosters, that she used to say to me that I was a lot more fragile mentally, quick to temper, very, very angry. So you've got to be careful when you're taking testosterone boosters, because psychologically, because of the flood of testosterone that's artificially now being created within your body, not stimulated but now created, it will play dividend on your mind and on your behavior. So you've got to be very, very careful. I'd noticed that I got angry. I mean, seriously I mean, I had a lot of rage when I was on that product. So I would advise the viewers out there not to take the testosterone boosters. But if you're looking to increase your testosterone outside of exercising or doing your deadlifts or whatever sort of routine you have in the gym, then long jack, or if you like Tonga Ali, is very different because it actually stimulates your own testosterone. So it's a worthwhile investment because, as you know, after the age of 35, testosterone levels start to drop significantly within the body. So just be aware. Be aware.
I also wanted to talk about what's really important is, we've of course got our main brain, right?
Mm.
Now, we've only recently found out that we have a second brain, right? And that second brain is our digestive, so our digestive system, right? And so
Correct.
the gut flora within your in your intestine, right? Is a collection of various. We have millions and millions of different types of bacteria, and we're only finding out now, exactly what those particular strains of bacteria in our body, which are good for us, and what is the balance between what is good bacteria to bad bacteria. Right.
Correct.
And so what it is over the years, I've had conditions, right? Conditions. And so I've really looked around it and had a look at and products out there, and I've tried them myself on really trying to rebalance your gut flora, because it's a very delicate balance, right? Because some of us have got more sensitive gut floras than others, so some people have got iron stomachs, right? They can literally eat anything they want, and they will, they're able to digest it, and of course taking the nutrients. And say people like myself who've got an imbalance, what I found is I've been using products on a range where I haven't got them in front of me, they're downstairs, but yeah, so I really recommend for you guys to really look into these particular types of products that give you probiotics, right? So in a particular capsule of probiotics, it's got good bacteria within that capsule, and you can you have it 3 times to 2 times a day, and what that will do over a period of time is rebalance your gut flora within your system. And so I really recommend for people to. I've got particular products I can tell you, put them in below, and really these capsules can really help to rebalance your internal system. And because it's your second brain, they've only now figured that also there's a direct link between the gut flora within your digestive system, from your large intestine, to your colon and so forth, to your brain. And they're talking about, so say for example, when you've come down with a bad condition or a flu, for example, then your brain will then know from its digestive system on how that balance is, right? And then it can release particular types of good bacteria within your body to help produce the various like say antibodies and so forth to help to fight those particular viruses and so forth. And so I really recommend probiotics. And there's also natural there's these grains called Kefir grains. Now, I can't remember where they're from, but they're really good because they have good bacteria within those particular grains, and you can put it into your milk. And then what you do is, say you've got a liter of milk, of like semi-skim milk, you put a couple of spoons of Kefir granules within that milk. And what it will do, you leave it overnight, it will break it down and then it would add these good bacteria within the milk. And then what you can do is drink that the next day. And I guarantee you, and also probiotic yogurts are really good for you. They're again really good for your digestive system. So I really recommend for people as a daily supplement to take probiotics together with whatever like you're having. So if you're taking vitamins, if you're taking like say cod liver oil, which is good for your joints, of course, right? That a lot of people know about that. So yeah, so I totally recommend for people to
I also I just wanted to kind of touch on what you said. Yes, you're absolutely right. So we do have two brains. So we have the brain in your head, and then we have the brain inside your stomach. But actually, your intestines are actually the first brain, because if you can imagine when we evolved, it was based on our intestines' need for consumption of food that was more relevant than anything else before our carnal brain started to actually work for us. With regards to intestinal flora, if you're taking things like paracetamol or aspirin, they can also destroy the gut flora within your intestines. So you need to be sort of aware of that. And as you mentioned, KP, probiotics, which I have certainly used on many occasions, can be very, very helpful. But also things like cutting out dairy products, cheese, milk, butter, margarine, anything that's dairy based. I would certainly try to avoid these types of foods, because actually they're not really good for you at all. And for people that suffer with irritable bowel syndrome, I mean, if you've got a severe case of IBS, there's a whole heap of food that you cannot eat, and it can be a very, very miserable existence. But I think if you can start with the basics, which is to cut out cut out dairy, it will certainly align yourself a lot better, and you just start to see a difference in terms of your symptoms starting to reduce. I also wanted just to mention, with regards, we've spoken before about intermittent fasting and fasting as a general topic, but we haven't really gone deep into it. And we're not going to go deep into it today, but I am an advocate of certain of intermittent fasting. And just to recap, so intermittent fasting is whereby you will fast for maybe 16 to 18 hours. So you might fast, for your first meal of the day might be at 4 in the afternoon, and then you might finish your meal or meals, say at 7 or 8 o'clock. And then let's say 8 o'clock you finish eating, you're not going to eat again until 4 the following afternoon. This is also a good way of trying to A, lose weight, B, when you have breakfast in the morning, what you'll find is that you'll start to feel a little bit lethargic, sleepy, your sugar levels start to drop. So by fasting, by skipping what we call the most important meal of the day, it's actually a very, very healthy thing to do. I think there's a lot of misinformation in the public domain that says that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I disbelieve that. The most important meal of the day is the meal that you eat within a period of time. It could be a window of 3 to 4 hours or 3 to 7 hours. But once that window has closed, then you have to be very disciplined and refrain yourself from consuming any type of foods. And I think that you will start to see a lot of benefits from intermittent fasting.
Yeah, I totally agree what you're saying, because our bodies is what, 70% water. Okay. So drinking liquids throughout when you're doing your intermittent fasting, because what you're doing is you're just supplementing yourself with water, you know. And I haven't done intermittent fasting myself, but can fruits like apple, quite water based, right? Does that include in the intermittent, or you can't eat no food whatsoever, even fruits? Or
no. I mean, look, I will say this: if you're in the corporate world, or if you've got a manual labour job, I mean, it will take severe willpower and severe discipline. Now, when I was doing intermittent fasting, yes, I drank coffee and I drank loads and loads of water, but I do not. So my routine was this: I would wake up, I would go to the gym in the morning, then go to work, have a coffee at work, and be drinking water until I finish work, go home, and then cook. Now, I know it sounds very, very difficult. It sounds very, very stressful. If you can have food prepared, so when you go home, the food just needs to be warmed up, then that's a better situation. But I mean, once I got home, then of course I would eat. And my window of time was normally about 3 hours. I did play around with it, 1 hour eating window, and that was quite stressful and taxing on my body. Then I extended that window to 3 hours, which was a lot more helpful. But no, to answer your question, you shouldn't actually drink any type of liquid other than water if you want to take it seriously. Because what happens is when you consume any type of food, coffee, honey, it will increase your insulin levels. And obviously insulin levels, when it's not needed, allow people start to put on weight. I forget the actual terminology. So by keeping your insulin levels low, what happens is you go into what we call a ketone state, which means now that we're tapping off the body's fuel A, and we're now going to the body's reserve fuel, which is fuel B, which is the fat that you already have. And that's the fuel that we want to be burning, not fuel A. We want to be tapping into the reserves of fuel B and use that as energy. And that can take up to maybe 6 to 7 weeks. In some cases, it can be a lot quicker, but you'll know when you tapped into it because you'll feel different. But no, when it comes to intermittent fasting, it should be water only. But again, if you're working in an office, I can completely understand if you want to drink a black coffee, for example. I wouldn't drink coffee with milk, but it's only a black coffee, fine. Yes, you will spike your insulin levels, but it won't be as high as if you're eating a croissant, for example, or a pastry, or an apple, or an orange. Does that answer your question, KP?
Yeah, it does. Like, so I guess tea, right? Is tea another one that you can really have, right? In terms of intermittent, as long as you don't have it with, well, you can have milk, right? So
I personally would avoid, again,
because it's a diuretic, so it would work in you because it's a diuretic like tea. So we'll let it flush out your system, you know, so it will make you.
Yes, but I think, as I mentioned earlier on, if you're suffering with symptoms like IBS, stay away from dairy products, period. If you're really looking to tap into ketones for intermittent fasting, I wouldn't drink tea with milk at all. I wouldn't drink tea with any type of sugar, which can be hard. It can be very hard. I'm not a fan of sugar, to be fair. If it were me, if you need to have something hot in your stomach, I would go for a black coffee. No sugar, no milk, no cream. But I understand that most people don't like that, because if you start taking sugars, then you're not really fasting. You're actually breaking that fast. So this is where you got to kind of draw the line. The best solution.
But you can have tea that's without sugar, right? That's what I do.
Of course you can.
I just have tea without sugar, and
sure.
And you don't have to. You can have black tea. I know it won't taste the nicest, but I do know people who drink black tea.
No, I drink black tea. Well, one thing I've noticed about when I do drink black tea, though, it does cause a lot of a rise in acid for some reason. I found that my acid levels start to rise, and actually after a period of time, I actually feel a little bit nauseous.
I agree. Yeah.
tea.
Totally. That happens to me as well. When I have tea, like your stomach starts rumbling, right? And then it just because it's a diuretic, it just at some point it flushes it out. But like you say, you do feel acid. Yeah, I get that as well. You're absolutely right. I do get acid.
If you drink black coffee, you don't get that feeling of nausea or that acid starting to build within your gut lining, but with tea you do. So watch out for that, and obviously be careful. But ideally, the way you should really start your day is this: you wake up, you drink a liter of water, but in the water you take half a lime and you squeeze the lime juice into that water to stimulate your nervous system. That's really the way that you should be starting your day. So as soon as you wake up, make your bed, go and drink a liter of water with lime juice, pure lime juice. Then what happens is you're going to go to the toilet, flush out your intestines from the night before, and then if you're into meditation, do your meditation. If you're into exercising, do exercising, etc., etc., etc. Now, sort of around about 9 o'clock, I would then have my first black coffee, and then maybe sort of 11:30, I may have another black coffee. But what I'm doing, I'm drinking water in between those periods of time. So come to 4 o'clock now, it will take time for you to get used to this process. But once you do, it'll become a lot easier day by day by day by day by day. But the trick is that you want to tap into your ketones. And for people that don't know what ketones is, it's basically you want to tap into your reserve fuel to burn energy. You don't want to eat food to burn energy. You want to tap into your reserve energy based on your fat cells to burn that energy. Specifically for people that want to lose weight, this is a great way of losing weight, i.e. intermittent fasting.
What I do, like you say, from what you're saying, you drink a liter of water with lime. But what I suggest is, you don't want to put too much pressure on your body for your kidneys to flush out that liter. So you should balance it throughout the day, and then drink. That's what I drink. Like say cups of water. I wouldn't drink a liter, straight away, because you're putting a load of pressure on your body to then your kidneys to flush it out, right? So what I would do is really so say like I drink 2 liters of water per day, right? So what I do is I balance it out. So balance out. Don't drink say 2 liters of waters within say 2-3 hours. Balance it out throughout the whole day. So you're giving your kidneys not a lot of pressure with the amount of water that you drank, because you'll find if you drink too much at one go, your kidneys will flush it out straight away, and you won't get some of the nutrients from the water, right?
Well, I see, and that's a very good point, Ket. That's a very, very good point. And for listeners out there, that's also good advice. But the reason I drink the water is because I want to get rid of the waste from the meal I've had the night before. Because I want to start the day with my intestines flushed, clean. You see, ideally, when you eat a meal, you need to excrete that meal back out again. Once it's, after a period of time, it needs to come back out again. People suffer with when you see obese people or people that are overweight, not all of them, but the majority of them, the reason that they're constipated like that is because there's food that's still rotting inside their intestines. And that's why when I wake up personally, I like to drink my lime juice and my water to flush out the meals from the night before. I'm very lucky that I have a very active immune system anyway. So I'm really happy about that. But usually when you see people in the high road that are quote unquote obese or overweight, it's usually because they have food that is still within their intestinal tracts that hasn't been excreted out. And the problem is that becomes putrefied, and you don't want that in your intestine. So what water does when you drink water is to help loosen up loosen up the putrefied food within your intestines, and then obviously once it's been excreted out, then you're ready to kind of start your day. Let's talk about another subject which has been well studied, which is called tapping. Tapping is, if you've ever had acupuncture, tapping is very similar to acupuncture, but unlike acupuncture, it's a form of tapping on certain parts of the body called meridian lines. You have between 10 to 12 meridian lines throughout the body. And when you tap on certain parts of these meridian lines, it loosens and it frees up blocked energy. And you feel very, very good. Are you aware of tapping by any chance, Kat?
Yes, yes, I am. I went to see a healer of last year, and so she introduced me to tapping, and really what you're doing, like you say, you're tapping on different parts of your body. So on your face, so say like you tap on the side of your eyebrow, you tap underneath your nose, and that represents releasing certain energies within within your system, and and so it is a way of releasing, like, all different types of low energies, and also like so some of them represent like self-esteem and also stress, so, and tapping is really just a repetition of you're repeating some words, I think, while tapping, and then that, I guess, goes into your unconscious, from your conscious to your unconscious, and then it tells your body what to really, when you're on your unconscious mind, is to then release those particular types of stresses or strains on your body. And I did it for 3 months. So at the time, I was going through a bit of a low period. I had a chain of events that unfortunately didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And so I felt I needed to release these stresses and these self-esteem issues that I had at the time, because I felt nothing was going right for me. So I went to this healer, and she really told me about the technique, like you described, tapping. I did it for 3 months, and it's released a whole lot of strain from my body. I think it was just loaded up in my body, and it's just really helped to release those energies. And now I'm really de-stressed, and I don't get stressed easily. Yes, over time you need to do it for a period of time in order to get the most out of it. So don't think if you do it for 1 or 2 days, it's going to release. It's really a long-term process, and it really depends on your circumstances as well. So that was my story. Yeah, I do know about
sure. So for people that I'm just trying to, so guys, just so you're aware, I'm filming on my mobile phone today. I wanted to try a different medium to record our hangout today. Normally I'm on my laptop, but we've been having issues when it comes to recording. So I thought I would try using my cell phone to record this video. But I want to just kind of demonstrate what we mean by tapping, because maybe a few of you out there are unaware of what we mean by tapping. So again, tapping is based on the Chinese philosophy of the meridian lines throughout the body. And by tapping on these meridian lines throughout the body, ultimately we can release blocked energy. So I'm going to just show you what I mean by that. So what we can do, we can start tapping at the crown of our head, like so. We start tapping just at the crown of our head here, like so. Then just here at the corner of each eye, we can start tapping here, just at the corner. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you take our advice when it comes to tapping, we'll put some links in the description to one of the co-founders of this called Gary Craig, and you can see for yourself. It's amazing how these types of technologies are rarely spoken about within the mainstream media or within the medical profession. So we just tap, 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 tap around the eyes here, nice and gently, nice and gently. You can use one finger, 2 fingers, but just try to, just where the socket here, just where on the corner of the socket here, on the corner of the socket, you just tap, tap. Then we go underneath here, just underneath the eye socket, underneath. You just tap, 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 tap away like that. And what you'll find is when you start to tap on these various different points, your attitude, your mindset is going to change dramatically. Okay, so we've been tapping here. Then we're going to tap here. Now this is called the philtrum. So what I'm going to do, just here, I'm going to tap underneath here. Just below your nose, between your nose and your top lip, there's a little bump there. You just tap on it. Like so. And this is called the philtrum. Anyone who's ever done martial arts before, you'll know if you've done karate or kung fu or any type of martial arts, that the philtrum is actually the place you're supposed to hit someone. I'm not advocating violence, obviously, but there we go. And then underneath here, so just where you got the bottom lip, and just in between your bottom lip and your chin, there's a little indentation right here. You tap there. Tap, 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 tap. Like so. I like to use 2 fingers. But if you like to use 1 finger or 2 fingers, that's completely up to yourself. Right, this is where it's going to get more interesting now. Okay, so let's recap. So we tap at the back of the head here, or you can pat it. Some people like to pat it. Some people like just to use their whole hand and just tap like so, in a circular motion. I personally like to tap it. Now, when you're tapping, you don't want to bruise your crown of your head. You just tap it like it's a fan. Just tap, 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 tap. And remember the eye sockets at the corners. Eye corner here and the eye corner just there. You can just tap, 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 tap. And I'll tell you what, you will start to feel good. If you're going through any type of negative experience, as Kat said, there's a certain mantra that you can say. We'll get you the mantra as well. It'll be in the description box. As I mentioned before, we'll put the relevant links to everything that we've spoken about, from marine phytoplankton to long jack to the Gary Craig tapping technique. And then, of course, underneath the eyes, just tap here. Already I'm starting to feel really, really good. Really good. You should do this every day, actually. Every day, every day. Just like when you clean your teeth. Just like when you get...
Together with that tapping, you can chant certain words.
Indeed.
And what those words will do is really channel it into your unconscious mind while you're tapping in that particular meridian.
Indeed.
And it will release at a period of time, what fears or whatever you're going through at the moment.
Right. Now from here, so we've done the top portion. Now we're going to go into the bottom portion. Right. So I'm going to just take my robe off. Now, girls, don't get excited. I know you want me. Calm down. Right. So you have the collarbone here. So you find the collarbone, just where it meets, just in the middle. You take your hand and you pump it. Just pump it here. Like so. Then from here, I'm going to turn my chair around here. Okay, so here's my armpit. Well, so we need to find where your nipple is. So I'm going to show you my nipple, so you calm down. My nipple's here. So we'll just...
You're not going to trip on us, are you? So...
Well, you'll be so lucky. So where the nipple is, in that line here, slap underneath your armpits like that. And again on the other side. What we'll do, we had no idea that we were going to do this type of hangout today. we're we're very much on the cuff. So the nipples here. Oh, so let me just bring this down a bit. So the nipples here, just in line with the nipple, just underneath the armpit. Start slapping here. Now, from here, take your hand, the karate chop. You see the fleshy part here? What we're going to do, we're going to take 2 fingers and we're going to tap. Tap, 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 tap. I've done this with so many people, and positive feedback, because again, your state of mind really changes. It really will change. Because again, these are based on the meridian lines throughout the body, your pressure points. So we tap here on the fleshy part, and this nice little fleshy part here. Okay, so take 2 fingers, just tap here, and then again, karate chop. If I just move back a little bit. Again, we're going to tap here. Tap, 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 tap. And if you can do this, you'll start to see immediate results. And the more times you do this, any type of ailments that you have, you're going to see and feel a lot better. But like I said, we'll have the information in the link in the description. Obviously, you can see where we're coming from. So again, you have the crown. You can either pat with your head, or you can put your hand like a I don't know what you would say here, but like a digger, I guess. You know, one of those JVC diggers that, you know, they lift and they take rubble from, yeah, very similar to that. Or you can just like that. Doesn't have to be hard, firmish, but not hard. Just tap. No bruising is required. And then again, you've got the eye sockets here at the time. Underneath the eye sockets, very good point. The philtrum, just below the lips, there's a space between the chin and the lips. There's a little indentation, as you can see here. Tap on it. Then, where the collarbone meets, take a hand and just pump it like that. Doesn't have to be heavy. Now, there are variations to this. The old school method would say it's also important to, this may not be appropriate if you're a female, especially if you're doing this in public. But for men, what we can do is actually tap on the nipples as well. So hopefully you've got some nipples, men. So tap on the nipples on both sides. And then, of course, underneath the armpits, like so. And then, of course, you've got the karate chop. So this is the very, very basic. This is the very, very basic way that one can obviously feel good, get the same high, the same feel-good feeling as eating a bit of chocolate, maybe having sex. I don't know. But yeah, this is something that will be very, very powerful for you if you actually take action and decide to use it. So I think we've given you some good information here. We're not experts. We're not doctors. So, I mean, this is for entertainment value only. If you are interested in any type of products that we would recommend, such as marine phytoplankton, the Tonga Ali, or even the tapping techniques, I would say at least go and consult your physician, because we're not going to be held responsible. But for many, many people out there, you will start to see differences within your own body. KP?
Absolutely, I totally agree. You know, the tap-in technique is a really good technique, and there are other techniques out there. And I wanted to go through. So when I went to see the healer, he told me, you know, one of those techniques is tapping, and there's another one. Also, so I would have a look at this particular technique called the tapas acupuncture technique, and it's really simple. Is what you're doing is you're really so you're using your hat, you're using your right hand, or and what you're doing is you are using your fingers and placing them on certain parts of your face. And then what you're doing, you would chant certain words. So whatever you are going through, or whatever you want to remove from your body, or even like positive, you can even go through doing positive um, technique techniques where so you pinch your nose on the top of your base of your nose, and then you place the rest of your fingers and parts of your face, and really and you start chanting what positive thing you want to as an outcome, or a negative thing that you want to remove. Again, if it's stress or anxiety or whatever you're going through. So really, I will put that again in the comments, and it's called Tapas acupuncture technique, and it's really, really what really you want to get out of from these techniques. Like the more you do them, so these techniques, you don't have to just do them once a day. You can do them twice or 3 times a day. If you feel it's working for you, then by all means do it more than like I say, once a day. And with the tapping, you can do it while you're doing your normal daily routine. If you're hoovering, or if you're watching TV, you don't have to go into a quiet space and start tapping. You can tap wherever you are, when you're on the bus, or when you're on the way to work, or really, I know it looks silly you doing doing your armpits and stuff, but you can tap some parts of your body, and yeah. So I really recommend that you continue on the course. And again, I like Solomon said, we're not a physician or a doctor, so really, if you feel you need to go get some medical advice, or if you find that something is happening with you while you're doing these techniques, then by all means, you can go and see your doctor before you do these techniques. That's really important.
Just wanted to say, with regards to the whole tapping technique, it's been medically proven, scientifically proven. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free, and is guaranteed to change your state of mind into a positive state of mind. So I don't know what type of situation you're having. It could be financial, it could be relationship based, it could be health based. But the tapping techniques, they do work. They do work. They do work. And if you can be consistent enough with tapping, you will see that if you have any health elements or ailments, shall I say, that this can certainly be reduced. It's been proven. But again, the links will be in the description. And you know what? I've been known to do this while I've been working, sitting in front of a computer, just to relieve myself from stress.
So because
it's funny. It looks funny. People are looking at you like, this guy's a weirdo. No, they're just ignorant, right? But then when you explain, but you see, when you don't know, right? But when you explain to people the benefits of such activities such as tapping, and they actually do it for themselves, they'll be the first people to tell you how good they feel with tapping. So yeah, I hope that we've been able to help you to look at fundamental
I wanted sorry, go on before you.
No, please go for it.
I wanted to also with tapping, I've been listening to what's called binaural frequencies.
Right.
So it's a particular type of sounds that, so if you go on YouTube, right, and you type in binaural frequencies, you will have some of these channels that provide music, and these music are vibrating at a particular frequency. And what all these different levels of frequency is just our natural frequency that our body is resonating, and because of course we're our brain is of course with our thoughts, goes into we are those thoughts go in a particular frequency. So what it is also your body is parts of your body is working at different frequencies, right? And with these music, it can really help to relax you. There's some that help you to sleep. So I was going through a period of insomnia, so I couldn't sleep for, I'm telling you, for weeks. And I got introduced to it by my cousin. He goes, "Why don't you try these particular these sounds, these particular sounds? You can go on YouTube, and again, it's free. You can just search it on YouTube and really look. I'll add some channels, YouTube channels that I know that are really that were beneficial for me at the time, and really what I really found was the frequencies that were vibrating into me, like my body was changing, and it was really going to a relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
And with that relaxation, I felt so de-stressed. I just wasn't worrying about things throughout the day or the weeks leading to my insomnia. Now I know people have insomnia for different reasons, but really, these types of musics can really help to rebalance yourself back to your normal frequency. Because when you get stressed, when you're anxious, or you're just not it will imbalance your frequency in your body, right?
Agreed.
And so these sounds will then rebalance. But I do have to say, be careful, because when I did do these particular type of listen to this music, it really plays around with your body. Yeah, so you'll find in few days that you're going through a change, and you feel like you feel weird for a few days, but eventually it will go into a normal constant stream, a constant, as long as you listen to it on a daily basis, then it will definitely help with whatever you're going through. And also positivity, you can use it for positivity again as well, for health, wealth, happiness. You've got these particular sounds that help you to achieve whatever you want to achieve, really. So I just wanted to put that out there, and for our viewers to really look at binaural frequencies and music. I'm sure, Sol, I think you've told me about them as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the binaural can be effective, but there's so many. If you go on YouTube, I mean, we're talking hundreds and thousands of different YouTube channels. So you have to do a bit of research and see which one is obviously the best one for you. They do work. I think insomnia is an acute problem that's really affecting a lot of the population at the moment. I don't think we're talking about isolated incidences. With the amount of cell phone masks and towers that are being erected wherever you live, it will interfere. It will definitely interfere with your sleeping pattern. Two things I would like to mention. Having an early night sleep like Ket does on a daily basis is super important, because you see, the body replenishes what's lacking through sleep. So sleeping before midnight is so important. A lot of people would argue that actually when you sleep after midnight, there's actually no point sleeping, because you're doing your body a disservice. So try to get your adequate, I don't know how long you need to sleep, 6 to 8 hours, I guess, of sleep. But definitely try to get into bed and be in that restful peace of mind, certainly before midnight. So I don't know. I don't know what your sleeping patterns may or may not be. But the second thing is, as I mentioned before, the amount of carrier signals that are being passed through our bodies through UHF radio waves. We've now been introduced to 5G technology, will damage your body, will damage the individual cells within your body. So I would also like to suggest that if you could perhaps purchase an earthing mat. An earthing mat is a plastic mat, which you will plug into your wall socket. And what happens is that you will earth, once you lay your feet or your hands down on this earthing mat, and then you need to have contact. So your skin needs to have contact with the earthing mat. What happens is that the positive electrons that are being emitted by these cell towers into your body, once you make contact with the earthing mat, it will collect those those positive electrons through negative electrons and discharge it out of the body. So let me say that again. An earthing mat is actually quite important because you need to protect your body from these 5G frequencies that are now being passed through the body. Because what happens is it will start to cause inflammation within your various different cell types. And so by having an earthing mat and by making contact, when I say contact, so skin contact with the earthing mat, which is plugged into your wall socket, what you'll do, you'll use the Earth's magnetic field to discharge the positive electrons out of the body. And also it's been scientifically proven that actually earthing your body makes you a lot smarter. So just some useless information I thought I would just share with you. Again, we will put the link in the description. But Ket, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, it's the earth, right? So you're talking about, positive energy coming from the earth. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, what you're saying is getting one of those mats. If you're living in a high-rise building, or or if you're at work and you just want to neutralize yourself, like you're saying, get one of those earth mats. But the best way is just to take your socks off and just go into the park and just be as one with nature, right? Because what you're doing is the energy that's coming from the earth is then going up, it's going through you to wherever it's going, and so that positivity really refreshes.
Well, it's not just the positivity. What it's doing, so Ket's made a very basic example. Now and when it's the summertime, that's exactly what I do. People look at me like I'm a weirdo, and I am a weirdo, I'm not denying it. But I will take my shoes and socks off and I will walk in the park barefooted. If there's any type of grass or greenery, take your shoes off. The reason being is because the Earth's magnetic energy will collect, again, those positive electrons, because if you don't have the balance of positive and the negative electrons, there's an imbalance, and the positive electrons will start to destroy the cells in your body. So what happens is when you walk barefooted in nature, the Earth's magnetic energy will go through your feet into your body, collecting the the positive electrons, and will discharge them throughout your body, which helps your body to be more balanced, and for you to feel a lot better. But obviously, if you're in sort of the winter, autumn period and you can't do that, the next best thing is an earthing mat. You're going to get exactly the same results. You can be watching TV, you can be in front of a computer, as long as you have contact, bare contact, skin contact with the mat that you've purchased, you're getting exactly the same effects, no different, absolutely no different. So it's a must-have. It's definitely a must-have.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a must-have. Even though I haven't got one yet, but I will purchase one. So yeah. It's been telling me to, but I normally just go out for, I've got a park just right near next to me, so I just take my socks off and go barefooted and walk on the grass and soil. But again, be careful of poo. Make sure when you're walking, you don't want to stand on poo. That's the last thing you want, man, because then you're gonna boy, how you gonna wash that shit off, man? Because that dog's poo stinks, boy. I'm telling you, when it's a hot day,
Yeah.
stinks. So be careful. Be careful where you're standing and what you're where your feet standing. But yeah, totally, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, by investing, it's an investment. By investing in an earthing mat, you're protecting your health, and also you're avoiding the shitty situations that you might walk into. So, so it's definitely an investment. But listen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you only have one body, and so you don't know how long you have that body for. Like literally, it may not be for long. It may be for a very, very long time. So why not look after it? Says the man that's smoking a vape. I get it, but it is what it is. But a healthy diet, you see, nature has provided food as medicine. Food should be looked at as a medicine, as a healing commodity directly from the earth. So please try to avoid foods that don't perish. You want to consume foods that are perishable products, that are grown in the ground or on the trees, that have seeds, effectively. These are what we call electric foods. So, for example, Brussels sprouts. Many of you may not like Brussels sprouts, but Brussels sprouts, you can buy them from the supermarket, you can stick them in your fridge, and guess what? They still keep growing. Okay? It's an electric food. So anything that's grown, that has seeds, oranges, tomatoes, obviously you want to keep it organic if you can. But any foods that have seeds are considered electric food, and these are the foods that one must be eating. Starch is no good for you because you're introducing a foreign body into your nervous system, and the body doesn't know how to deal with it. Because we were never designed, ladies and gentlemen, to eat starch, arguably blood, i.e. meat, and refined sugars. Meat is a difficult one because it's a very difficult one. But I believe that actually by walking away from meat, yes, there are deficiencies when you don't eat meat, but they can be counteracted. But by not eating meat, you're giving your body a chance to live the way that nature intended. And there's some people say, but we have different types of teeth, molars, incisors, canines, etc., etc. I'm not disputing that. I just think that if you look at vegetarian people, they seem to live a longer life, it appears, than for someone that's a carnivore that likes to eat his red meat, for example. I'm not saying this for everybody. I am a meat eater. There's been periods where I've abstained from eating flesh. I would like to go back from abstaining from eating flesh, but it's a process. It takes willpower. It requires preparation. For somebody that's thinking about looking at veganism or becoming a vegetarian, plan well. Plan well, because it's easy to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start eating meat. But then the next set of challenges is when you enter the supermarket, you may feel rather lost because you haven't prepared well. So prepare well if that's the endeavor that you want to undertake. There's loads of information on becoming a vegetarian. So it's completely your choice. But again, you don't know how long you're going to have your body for. So you need to look after it. You need to exercise your body. Every day you clean your teeth, you brush your hair, you wash your face. It should be the same with exercise. You need to put stress in your body. You need to put stress in your body in some form, shape, or another. So that's the wisdom that we have today. I want to thank you for listening to us. I don't know if Kate has any final words that he wants to mention or say. It's a Friday. It's a Friday afternoon here in the UK, GMT. The time currently is, I have no idea. What's the time, Kat?
Well, the time is 5:08. So
okay, it's early evening, I guess. So it's just coming up to 5:10 here in the early evening GMT. It's a Friday, so I hope you guys are not going to be working too hard over the weekend. If you are, stay positive. Remember to keep focused on your goals. If you focus on your goals, if you stay busy, you will achieve it. Remember, believe it, see it, and achieve it. It all starts in your mind first. Everything that you see in your room right now started up here. From your bed to your door, your cabinets, it all started here. So, yeah.
I just wanted to add, like, really, you first got to accept that you've got these challenges, right? And you first have to really believe in these particular techniques that we've told you about. Some people might think, oh, it's voodoo, or it's something that's doesn't work. But really, you just got to have an open mind. We really have an open mind with what we've spoken to you about. With the health side, yes, of course, there's scientific proof. But with tapping and these other forms of frequency music and your the ground, so having an earth mat and so forth, those things really matter. And if you truly want to change your life, and if you truly want to become more a healthier mind, body, and spirit, definitely, I absolutely, what we've told you today is to try them. And please let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Below. Please let us know if you have tried it, how it went for you. And I really want to hear from you guys, positive, about whether it went for you or not. And I really look forward to reading the comments from you guys. So I thank you again.
Absolutely. Okay, you rotten bastards. You know what time it is. Take care of yourself and each other. See you tomorrow, maybe.
See ya. Bye.
Take care. Peace out.